My name is Ray, partner at Credo, and today is another installment of our Future of Cities series. The pandemic laid bare the shortcomings of our densely populated urban areas. Problems like congestion, emissions, and inequity have become symbols of decay in our largest cities. As we move into a post-pandemic world, our cities sit at a major crossroads. Will they continue down the same path, or will they lead the way forward towards a more equitable, healthy, and environmentally friendly future? Today, we'll see how a startup and a city are working together, creating a new model for how our urban spaces will be shaped in the 21st century. This is a story about innovation, how it can come from anywhere, and given the right context, can thrive anywhere.
Can I go?
Yeah, he said like hello. I am Alejandro Talora and I am the head designer of Kiwibot. We have a vision in our company, which is create the infrastructure of tomorrow of delivery items. How? With robots. I'm here to make sure that the road looks super great in the streets.
We're doing robotic delivery, or we're not doing something that already exists and make it a little bit better. We're trying to create something from scratch, right? From the robot technology to how we interact with the cities. My name is Diego Varela. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Kiwibot. We're trying to help solve a logistical issue that will make cities more livable and people's lives easier. Last mile delivery or last stretch delivery, however you want to call it, has become very expensive to operate. Whatever systems we have today, and 80% of food delivery in the US is done by cars powered by gas, right? Isn't working.
Our appetite for ordering all things online reached new heights during the pandemic. It left us with newfound expectations for the immediate delivery of food and pretty much everything else. This presents logistical challenges known as the last mile problem. Essentially, the final stretch of a delivery is incredibly expensive and time-consuming, involving couriers, asynchronous coordination, and inefficient transportation options. The result of all of these inefficiencies is more congestion, more pollution, and food delivery that is getting more expensive for consumers and so costly for restaurants, they aren't making any money from it.
Delivery isn't a luxury anymore. It's a need, it's a right, it's a must within the city.
Now we are doing other interesting things, which is testing our API with the restaurants, for example, with DoorDash or with other partnerships or with other big partnerships. And it helps us to understand that we can assemble our fleet.
We can do the same thing for, say, the Internet of Atoms, right? And so what we really mean by that is we want to be able to move physical items the same way that Internet did with data.
We are just in the beginning of what the road should be and what this infrastructure is going to be in the future. In the future, the deliveries is going to increase dramatically. Everyone is going to request something, things that you don't know that you needed. I think this is the real value of all this infrastructure. I mean, to create all of these robots is how this kind of technology can help you to make your life easier.
Are we finally at a place where we're ready to accept the archetypal robot companion? It seems like technology is getting closer, but many still harbor deep concerns about automation, especially as it relates to jobs. It's a legitimate concern, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But if we can get past our fears for a moment, Kiwibot's vision for the future makes a lot of sense. It's a size-appropriate vehicle for the task at hand, it's electric, and it can be programmed. At scale, a network of these bots controlled autonomously or semi-autonomously could drastically lower costs of on-demand delivery, making it a service that's so cheap and accessible, it could nearly be ubiquitous. But to get to this envisioned future, these bots need to be accepted by society, which means first, they need to be smart enough to navigate urban areas without getting in the way. Essentially, they have to understand the world around them.
This version is important for us because it's the first time that we're going to have a really big brain in the robot. From the brain is where the magic is going to happen. This is the first time that the robot is going to have sensors, cameras, and everything to make it work. It's helping us to create a 3D world to make the robot navigate through the cities in a safe way. We are using machine learning, computer vision, LiDAR sensors, everything is there, is in the robot. And our robot is now doing something really similar to autonomous navigation.
It's clear that a lot of work has gone into making them smart, but if they're going to be successful and accepted in the streets, they also need to be cute.
Why the robot is cute? I think it's one of the current questions that the people always used to ask us. And from the beginning we understand that a cute robot is important because we need that the people in the streets really appreciate a new creature which actually is living in the sidewalks with the people. We need the people accept the robot, and this is the main function of a robot like this. We want that the people becomes part of the society.
Kiwibot has proven, at least on college campuses and in their hometown of Medellin, that people are ready to adopt robots that make their lives easier and more efficient. But the question is, are our largest cities ready and willing to embrace these futuristic companions? Are we ready for a future where we share our streets and public spaces with robots? And are these robots ready and able to safely navigate large, densely populated urban areas? Say, cities like Los Angeles.
It's probably one of the cities in the world that needs it the most. From a traffic standpoint, congestion standpoint, I mean, Santa Monica and the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, they've taken the lead in like, hey, we're gonna, devote area, the zero emissions delivery zone, to robot delivery and other technologies that are clean technologies, whether it's bikes, e-bikes, etc.
The nation's first zero emissions delivery zone in Santa Monica is a 1 square mile ecosystem where the city is partnering with LA Clean Tech Incubator to quickly pilot new clean forms of transportation. It's a great sandbox environment for companies like Kiwibot to test out their technologies. If successful, it could be a blueprint for other cities looking for creative ways to establish 21st century urban spaces.
The conception that we have about urban spaces is going to change. For example, what is doing Santa Monica with their project here is really interesting because it helps to reduce carbon emission waste. It helps to the people to walk more.
Everybody from our CEO down to the most junior employee, somebody that's just graduated from university that's starting out and maybe doing an internship with us, we all care about the environment deeply. We see ourselves as a part of that big shift in consumer behavior, city design, urban environments, overall economic spend, economic development. We see ourselves as part of that.
We've talked at length about the potential benefits of a technology like Kiwibot, but what about that automation question? If they are successful at scale, what does that mean for all the people whose jobs might one day be displaced? It's a valid concern that will probably remain one of the more important questions of the 21st century. In other words, it's probably not something we can answer today, but we had a chance to visit with Kiwibot as they prepared for their LA launch. And it opened my eyes to the fact that displacement in one area could lead to completely new opportunities in another.
The people behind the robot, I think, is the most important to make the robot works in a very efficient way. And definitely we will need so many people supporting the way that we do deliveries at this moment.
I am Leonardo Correa. I've been working in Kiwibot for 2 years. I am the mechanical engineer.
Okay, my name is Andres. I've been working with Kiwi for about 4 years, more than 4 years. My job here is to design all the electronics. Also, we have to integrate all the sensors, all the cameras together, the power systems and everything else. So yeah, we are the hardware guys here.
We're also testing the electronic parts, we're testing the software.
Awesome.
And yeah.
What's your team called?
We have a lot of names now.
Yeah.
Astronauts.
It's cool. That's where innovation happens, in garages. It's like, what? Isn't that Apple and Google and right?
Yeah.
On the periphery, this was a story about technology and civic innovation. But at its core, it's a story about people, about finding ways to give us back things we can't buy. I believe it's also a story about intent. Technology on its own is neither good nor bad. but it's the people that ultimately determine its course.
What are you most proud of up to this point?
I comes from a place where, I mean, the options and the possibilities for my family was not easy. I feel proud about what we're doing. I feel proud about what I'm doing for them, because in Colombia we really need this kind of inspiration. And I think Kiwibot is an opportunity to do these kind of things, inspire.